Well, I'll tell you guys what I told the team after the game. That kind of summed up our last 60 days. We took some blows, adversity hit, and it finished the exact way. It finished with a group of people coming together and finishing, rolling our sleeves up, and just being tough players, right? And tough players that finish with love, integrity, and toughness. And that's what we want this program to be about. And that was a great snapshot of the second half of how we need to run it. Obviously, a lot of things to clean up, right? From penalties to me to defense. But the biggest jumps from game 1 to game 2. So hopefully we can make that jump and get things ready for next week. Let's go with some questions.
What's the status of Spencer?
Spencer, a little ankle sprain. Don't know anything yet. Probably could have went it back in, but they had enough faith in Bryson. And that was my thought for a long time. We might have 2 of the best quarterbacks in the Mountain West, and Bryson goes in and doesn't miss a beat, and the offense picks up even faster with his legs and what he can provide. And so hats off to Coach Cefalo and Coach Kingston and developing that room and getting the right people in. And there was no drop off, and that's what we expected when Bryson takes the floor.
Can you give us an update on Briggs as well?
Yeah, Briggs is going to be a little more. He's going to have a fractured leg probably. So we don't know any certainties yet, but I feel awful for that kid. So I'd like for everyone to keep him in their prayers at home. And no one deserves more success than that guy and everything he's been through. So we'll be thinking about him tonight.
Coach, what was your biggest takeaway from this game?
Resilience. We talked all the time with you guys and with this team on, man, life is not easy, right? And there's going to be bumps and there's going to be bruises and things does not go your way, right? July 1st, no one expected me to be the head coach here, but these guys battled back. And the hats off to how close they are together. And don't get me wrong, it was not a very clean football game, right? We have a lot of stuff we need to clean up, but everyone stayed together. Everyone stayed positive. We know we have to fix, but one thing is hard to fix, and that's a team that's not close, and we don't have that problem. We have a bunch of guys that are resilient that want to win games.
Coach Ron, what was your halftime speech? It was a rough second quarter, so obviously you came out played well in the third quarter. So how did you kind of rally the team together there?
Yeah, well, you kind of just split them up. Offensively, we just had too many self-inflicting wounds, right? We had penalties that killed our drives. Not necessarily what Robert Morris was doing, but we get a big play and we have a holding or a personal foul. So all stuff which is easy to fix, right? It's just being a smart football team and controlling your emotions, which we talk about. Obviously, we need to execute better on that end. But hats off to Robert Morris. Coach Clark over there has done a fabulous job of building that program. And there's a reason that they won 4 games last year and they're picked 3rd in the conference because they're going to surprise some people with how they play. And then defensively, we gave up 14 points and it was really 3 plays. We gave up 3 plays for chunk yards, and that's how they scored. So we kind of simplified the defense the second half, only ran a couple different calls, and just let our guys get their feet set and make plays and do their job, and that worked for us.
You talk about the offense, especially under Bryson Barnes, because he came in and started off like he threw 2 of 7, had a pick, but then as you mentioned, kind of second half, really started going off leading the offense efficiently. You speak to his ability to step in, even after a rough start for him in the first 7 or so passes, leading the offense efficiently in the second half.
Yeah, well, one thing with Bryson, he's got more confidence than anybody in the world. So if he started 0-7 or 0-40, it wouldn't matter. He's going to rip the next one. That's why everyone loves him. That's what you need at quarterback. But I think hats off even more so to Coach Cefalo and the offensive staff of tweaking the game plan. We had a pretty basic game plan coming in, and obviously we needed to do a little bit more, and they made the adjustments, and it worked right out of the gate. So, but then with Bryson, it's the same thing. Same thing why Utah loves him, because he's so tough. He's going to find a way to make plays, right? And he's so mobile on his legs. Had a 70-yard run, one of the biggest plays of the game. The kid can just do it all, and the team loves him. Whether it's Spencer or Bryson back there, we feel very comfortable.
Do you anticipate Spencer being available next week?
I don't know. I can't comment on that yet. Hopefully. He'll be obviously in the training room, living in there, I'm sure, for the next week. But if not, Bryson will be ready.
I'm sure with that start, things were maybe getting a little chaotic on the sideline, but also, like you said, the guys came together. So are you proud of what you did out there today, what your team did out there?
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be proud for a little bit. No, it was a rough start, right? I mean, we're down at half to a team that we felt and probably everyone feels that we should handle, right? But that's how it goes. That's football. Guess what? They get a practice too, and they're getting better. But then that goes right back to this team staying together, right? There's no one's blaming anybody. Offense ain't mad at the defense. Defense ain't mad at the offense. It's just next opportunity, right? Whether it was an interception, defense goes back out there again, right? Or as a 3-and-out, now offense gets some momentum going. That's what we need. We need to play complementary football, playing together, and that's what second half looked like, right? Defense and offense feeding off each other. That's how the game's supposed to be played.
Just Coach Riley, I wanted to ask you. I mean, it didn't come down to field goal kicking today, but Elliott did a great job today, kicking 3 field goals, 50-yard career long, another 42-yarder. So how nice is it to have somebody you can rely on if it is a close game and that really matters?
Yeah, no, I trust that player more than anybody. He's good. He's consistent. A couple weird misses, on that extra point. That was too chaotic on my part. Should have handled that better. But he is confident, and he's got one of the best snappers in the country with Jacob Garcia, and it's always on point. And Coach P has done a great job with all those guys.
A lot of times early in the year, tackling is difficult because you don't tackle as much maybe in camp as you did in the past. How would you assess the tackling that you guys did on defense?
Usually when you get asked that question, you weren't very good at tackling. So and that was one of the adjustments, right? If you look at the first half, a lot of cutback plays because we were overrunning the ball. It's all about angles and pursuing an angle to take away the inside cutback. And so we adjusted that. Coach McMillan did a good job of talking to that, and Coach Kwame at halftime of how to set our angles. And that was a big factor. The first half, you look at their plays, there was a missed tackle on a screen for about 40 yards, a missed tackle on a inside zone for a touchdown for about 40 yards. And one other little chunk one that we missed. Other than that, it was solid, but those get amplified when you do miss them. So it has to be 100%. And that's nothing. It's got to come down to pursuit. There should be more than one guy there if you miss a tackle.
How would you assess the way Kyrie White played today?
Man, isn't he awesome? Unbelievable. I knew he was going to have a breakout year. We had a receiver transfer out the day before fall camp, and nothing missed a beat on offense. Kyrie's had an unbelievable fall camp. He has incredible hands, and he can roll, and that's what you guys saw today. He's one of the players, that's going to have a big year. If they're going to play 2 over top of Jalen, someone's got to step up, and I couldn't be more proud of how he handled it today.
With USC, they have a ranked matchup tomorrow versus LSU. I imagine you'll be watching it. But what are the main things you want to get fixed before you head to USC as of now?
The main things I want to get fixed, man, we have so many, right? We'll check the tape out. Obviously, I need to clean some stuff up from a head coach. The biggest thing is just penalties, and it's penalties we put on ourselves. They're stupid penalties. We can't beat good teams consistently if we keep shooting ourselves in the foot. So that comes down to being a smart football team, and that'll be a huge emphasis. It's never about what the opponent does. As long as you're getting better, right, and you're playing better ball week in and week out, you're always going to have a chance. But when you're setting yourself back and it's 2nd and 18 as opposed to 2nd and 2, then life is hard. So that'll be our huge emphasis this week.
Any thoughts on your first win as head coach?
A lot more work than just being a defensive coordinator, right? Hats off to my defensive staff. Typically, I'm in the defensive huddles for another 10 minutes every single time we take the sideline, but I got to go manage the offense over there. And Coach McMillan, who's the co-DC now, did a great job, as well as Jalen, Kwame, and Cedric, all those guys, man. Shutting that team out in the second half after giving up a couple cheap ones in the first half is a fabulous job, and I didn't do much. That's all their idea, so that's all their credit.
Can you give us any insight on kind of what happened at the end? There kind of an awkward ending there where it looked like they were going to set up for a field goal.
Yeah, well, so that's why you pay attention to class, because what they told me was with 3 seconds or less, you can't spike the ball, right? And there was 2 seconds on the clock. So once I saw that, we knew the game was over. The refs just had to get the page across the book. But that's one of the rules. So luckily, my grandma was my 2nd and 5th grade teacher, so I've been paying attention for a while. Paid off there.
Were you a good student to your grandma?
Well, you could not be, right? Because then you go home and your grandpa spanks you. So yeah, I was locked in. That's a good question. That's Grandma Dead. Give her a shout out right there. You guys got anything else? Awesome. Thank you, guys. You guys have fun? Whew, that was exhausting, wasn't it? We're going to get better. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate you guys.
Bryson, it's not the first time you've had to come in at quarterback after somebody left the new period. I'm just curious what was going through your mind.
I mean, yeah, just like you said, I've been through it. That's what I've had to do at Utah for the last 3 years, and definitely prepared me for this moment. Coach Ludd really preached that, you're one hit away. You don't know when that one hit's going to be. It could be the first play of the game. It could be in practice leading up to the game. It could be week 8. You never know when that opportunity is going to be, so you got to be ready for it. And so, yeah, that's the preparation process. You got to prepare as if you're the starter when you're the backup.
It seemed like the first 2 passes you struggled a little bit through an interception. How did you kind of adjust to that and come back in the second half ready?
Yeah, I feel like it was just a matter of getting my feet in the ground and just executing the game plan. I mean, we would run a 2-minute drill. Things were kind of scrambled. You don't really plan on your starter going down. And yeah, just getting into the second half, made a few adjustments, and it definitely showed in the second half.
Bryson, I mean, both touched a couple long runs in the second half. You weren't touched. I mean, how good of a job did the offensive line do in the second half?
Oh yeah, it was great. That's what I told him. I said, no one's feeling sorry for us right now in the locker room. And at the end of the day, they took it upon themselves. We came out. I think what I heard, we put 300 yards on the ground. Like, that's incredible. And so big hats off to those guys in the trenches. I mean, that's where it starts. That's where it finishes. And we don't get the ball moving without those guys up front.
Person, how do you stay so confident and calm when you're the guy who has to be called on? It's almost like deja vu for you. But you looked really confident there.
Yeah, I mean, when you've been through it a couple times, I've had to go through just random moments when you have to step up as the two when the one goes down. And so when you've done it enough, and at the end of the day, it comes down to your preparation. You're either got a deer in the headlights look, or you're calm and collected. And so at the end of the day, it just comes down to the preparation that you put in during the week.
And how proud are you of your team's performance? Because like I said, you guys could have started pointing fingers at each other,
Yes.
especially after 3 picks. But not only did you come out in the second half, but you absolutely dominated.
Yeah, I mean, the team there's just a vibe about this team. I mean, Coach A left, everybody just rallied together. We've had a lot of adversity the last 60 days, and everybody just rallied together. And so when you come into the first half, nothing's different. And just like I said before, like, no one was feeling sorry for us. It was just a matter of putting the past in the past, getting forward, and just executing the game plan that the coaches put forth for us.
Well, congrats on your debut, man. But
Thank you.
there was a stretch there where the defense was saving the game because you guys were going out there and protecting your home field when the offense was struggling. Just take me through the resilience of this defense and just what it's like to be on, the front end of that.
Yes, ma'am. So this is a completely new defense from last year. That's kind of what we want to identify as is, hey, we're going to be more physical. We're going to get to the ball, and we're going to make you feel us once we get there. And I think that this coaching staff and, Coach Riley becoming the head coach has really led us to becoming that. And as for the game, the game's going to swing. Offense is going to have its days. Defense is going to have its days. And I think that the offense, while it took them a minute to get going, it took us a minute to get going as well. They put up 14 points early. That's something that shouldn't have happened, and that's on us. We came out in that first half. I think we were a little, okay, we'll see what happens. And so in the second half, Bryson got us in the locker room at halftime, and he really riled us up. Same with Coach Riley, who said, hey, we're going to play our football. And I think once we did that, we locked it in.
Your tackling was a lot sharper in the second half than the first half. Your angles were better. The running back had a lot less success. Was there anything that you guys did specifically, or was it just kind of settling into the game?
I think it was just settling into the game. As we said, there's 27 Aggie debuts tonight. And so I think it definitely was a little eye-opening. That's a great crowd out there. It's bigger than 3 times, 4 times, whatever I've ever seen. So I think they're settling into the game and just realizing who we want to be and who we're going to be. I think that's what it was.
John Ross, I'm just curious, when you say that the mentality was kind of like, we'll see how it goes. Like, what does that mean exactly?
Just in terms of, we felt really strongly about our offense coming into the game. Defensively, we knew what we have. We have a lot of talent on both sides of the ball, and we just kind of wanted to go out there and I won't say we took it lightly, if you will, but I want to say we just kind of just played it back, if you will, just kind of playing it safe almost and stuff. And that wasn't the right way to go about it. That's not who we are, and that's not who we're going to be.
John Ross, obviously you did a great job at your last school. But how motivated and hungry were you to prove yourself at the FBS level?
Yes, sir. This is my first D1 game, and that's every little kid's dream growing up. And I think that for me, I play for all the people that have ever, given me a chance, given me an opportunity. I think this coaching staff really has. So I was very motivated, very hungry to come in and prove like, hey, D2 players can play here, and I'm one of them. You know what I'm saying?
Coach Darling getting his first win as a head coach. What's it like learning under him and having him as your head coach?
It's great. It's kind of annoying sometimes because, he was a linebacker at Pitt State as well, so that's another D2 school. But he's a great guy, and I'm really proud of him and proud of this team for the way we battled back in the second half. I think that it's definitely – I say it's annoying just because he's such a smart guy. He watches so much film. He knows everything like the back of his hand. So, if you make a slight misstep or a mistake, he's on you like white on rice. So it's just it's funny, if you will.
Following up on that a little bit, he's obviously the defensive coordinator as well, and he
Yes.
can't be as hands-on because he's the head coach. So what is that like compared to other coaches you play for?
It's really no different. He doesn't miss a beat. He trusts the offensive staff, and he knows exactly what he wants to do. He knows how good the offense will be. and is. And I think that really it's not that much different from any other coach I've played for. I think that he's a really good job. He does a good job at managing both sides of the ball. And, he's a good guy to play for. I really appreciate him.
One thing I noticed, first of all, the helmets look, I have to say they look really good, but I noticed there was a couple issues with helmets falling off, or I heard that, there was maybe some frustration from some people with the helmets. How did you like the look and the feel of the new helmets?
Yeah, I personally, it was the first time I've ever seen anything like that. I thought it was pretty cool, to be honest with you. I think the frustration was just because it's the first game. You got to knock the rust off, if you will. Yeah, we've been at it for the past 2, 3, 4 months, whatever it's been since football started. But just knocking the rust off is kind of more so what that is.
Coach Riley earlier said there's obviously a lot to work on for this game going forward. What do you feel after kind of like playing this game and seeing what there is to learn from it, also what you guys did well? What do you feel like is the ceiling for this team?
The ceiling is Mountain West Championship. You know what I'm saying? We're a good team. We just have to do what we do. There's we're at fault when we mess up. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody else to blame. That's on us and stuff like that. And I think that once this team gets head in the right direction, which we will this week, and we put all those pieces together, we get communication down, and we really focus on who we are, sky's the limit.
What were the emotions when you saw Spencer and then Robert Briggs go down with injury?
Those are our two key offensive weapons, if you will. So obviously that really hurts in that moment and stuff like that. But it's just like Bryson said, it's next man up mentality, and we have a lot of faith in our depth and what we have in that room, in both of those rooms, if you will. We know Bryson Barnes is a really good player, and then Rob got hurt. Rob's a really good running back, really fast, really shifty, and he can hit you if you want to. But with Rasul and Herschel coming in, like, those are really good backs too. So I don't feel like we missed a step after that. I think that prayers to them and their injuries. They'll be back soon, but we're sitting here.
You kind of already touched on this, but I just have to ask, what is it like playing your first D1 game at Utah State where you have award-winning herd in the Maverick Stadium? How does that feel?
It feels amazing. It was great to go out there and just see the turnout. Like I said, that's probably 3 to 4 times more fans than I've ever seen in my collegiate career. So that was amazing. And the herd is great. The whole game, just hearing them on the field, third downs, just getting extremely loud, is great.